Today I'm thinking about how trickstery life is, inside and outside. I want to move some energy around this topic, through this topic. I want us to feel stabilized in the trickstery push-pull of life's call to see things from every angle, not to fry our faculties, but to come fully alive, to take up space, to inhabit all of the polar opposites, to find ourselves in the middle ground where we are in full acceptance of all of our own parts. Can you feel your worthiness of that? Real question. Please answer in the comments. Can you feel your worthiness of wholeness, of integrated, embodied wholeness? Fully accepting and approving of yourself, your experience, all that has been, all that could be. Are you in approval of your own portal of pure possibility? It takes true innocence to be in the high frequency of that approval. It's pretty incinerating for any aspect of us that's in resistance. My experience of having a child is that children, in their innocence, are particularly talented at accidentally poking all the places that are holding that resistance. And we can be pretty reactive when that happens. I can be pretty resistant. I can be pretty reactive when that resistance is poked, prodded. And it's just so absolutely clear in looking through the eyes of the child that there is no malicious intent to prove my badness or wrongness. It is pure intuitive instinct tripping over the tripwires to free up the channel, to clear the pathway for consistent, compatible flow between our bodies and minds. And this is all a metaphor also for what automatically happens inside oneself, with oneself, because we have this multi-dimensional puzzle of moving parts, including the inner child, who is continuously, instinctually responding to stimulation in a way that brings awareness, attention to resistance, to the stuck stuff, to the wounding, to the traumatized holding of electric energy that's meant to be flowing in a consistent current. And that current gets blocked, held back inside of us, and that hurts, and that's where all of our problems are coming from. So how is your root feeling in hearing all of this? Is it like squeezed up and like gone into hiding? Is it drowning down in some kind of stubbornness? Maybe a bit of both, because those both immediately came to mind, and either way there's a lot of intelligence in those reactions, in that survival response. just want to circulate permission. Interesting, there's such high sensation in some of my teeth right now. I don't know how I know the body is mapped out through the whole mouth, that the mouth connects to every part of the body, but I'm not sure what up there is. It's kind of passed through now. But it's interesting. Okay, back of my left shoulder blade lit up with heat. And it's like, this to me is simple proof, evidence that the work is working. You know, the ego maybe wants this ASMR Reiki to explain itself and be more complicated than it is. And we can go into the complications of explanation, but that's not needed for it to function really well. Because what we're doing is energetically, through the quantum field, giving permission for energy to recycle anything that's ready. And what it takes for energy to be ready to recycle is quality permission, is a sense of safety. I will be safe on the other side of this. This is allowed. I am stabilized in this flow. We've been groomed, ingrained with ideas that deep inner emotional electric flow equates to destabilized. The psych ward is coming to mind. But that's where people who exhibit strong emotional flow go. That's been a major part of our Western history. And so we can get really addicted, attached, committed to holding on. But that ends up frying the system so much more than allowing the intensity of flow in a moment. When we trust ourselves to allow the electricity to flow through us, to express, we can do it in a clean way, in a contained way, not where we're limiting our expression, but where we are taking full responsibility for our own expression. And there, it's not going out there and lassoing others and pulling and yanking on them, because we no longer perpetuate the conditioning of blaming and shaming and using blame and shame as excuses to finally express. There's so much of that impressed upon us as people that don't you dare express how you're feeling unless there's accurate blame being had in the expression that passes the buck. And then, okay, go ahead. That is this strange storyline that's been woven tightly into the fabric of our functioning as a collective. And we're here just moving energy, just massaging into the textures of the fabric of reality, encouraging flow, loosening that tightness that's like feeling crazy in the tension. It doesn't feel safe with itself. It feels all strangled and suffocated because the flow isn't flowing. That tightness comes from having to believe singular linear storylines and the false superficial shallow security that arrives to us through those material attachments. We're looking for security and stability and safety with ourselves that comes from deep within. And so we have to let ourselves flow all the way in there. And so we're here just massaging. That's an interesting word to say. And my mouth is so full of the energy of it, massaging. Letting the energy meet with the various parts, encouraging the parts to release any static, stagnant energy that's been accumulated there and recycle through the root and into the earth so that we can be really, really well. Like, well, perhaps well beyond what you've known this lifetime or in recent lifetimes, or perhaps in any parallel lifetime, because we are in a process of remembering what was possible when we first acquired these human bodies. What was possible when no human body had any trauma, had any stuck stuff. We were pure flow. And we could access the possibilities that are present here on earth at this time, but require us to really amp up the circulation that we're allowing through these bodies. And it is a collective effort, but you have one portal, and that is your own body. That is your opportunity for impact, and it requires us individually to surrender to that truth, explore it, experiment, and embody the liberation that arrives when we discharge and circulate energy. We access the flexibility and openness that we authentically are. Nonverbal energy flow is our primary language. It's our first language, and that is a defining factor of our togetherness. It's a truth for every human on earth. And we understand this through our individual bodies, given the opportunity, having space held for us, or just having an onslaught of pressures that finally press us into the surrender to this fact that we are primarily nonverbal. Our bodies know this. They speak in sensation. And that is how we remember to deep, deep, deep listen, which lets all the parts come back into cooperation together. It's effortless, it's easy when we give them space to do so, when we give them space by discharging the stuck stuff and circulating fresh energy above and below. It's why it's so important, so impactful that we simply breathe, exhale into the earth right now with me. Plug in. Let your roots wiggle and shoot into the earth. Be tucked in there, be held there, be anchored there. In this ongoing exchange where you get to recycle and you get to slurp up the fresh earth energy that's so immediately nourishing. And then take a big breath into your heart. And we're going to exhale through the top of the head like a whale and shoot that energy all the way up. Back to source, back to creator, back to God, back to center of the universe, back to the big old void space. Recycling everything. It can handle it. You can handle it. And now slurp up fresh life force energy. We need both the source, the cosmic life force energy, and the earth, life force energy mixing and mingling in us to acknowledge our wholeness, that we are both finite, fleshy, human, and infinite cosmic soul soup. What I'm hearing is like getting ahead in life is really as simple as this. You get ahead of the holdups, as in you're no longer held back from discharging and circulating due to the amount of need for discharge and circulation. At some point in the stuckness, you could see maybe just a sliver of an opening, and you choose discharge and circulation, and that makes that opening bigger and bigger until there's no more block. And then it's important that we keep going, but it doesn't feel so effortful. It doesn't feel like such a puzzle. It feels like, oh yeah, this is my natural capacity. I don't even have to think about it. It's just the answer to everything that I do, moment by moment, discharging and circulating energy. It's effortless in my authentic flexibility and openness that I was trained to be scared of. My own flexibility and openness is so wild, and I feel that wilderness of fear facing off with the innocence in my psyche, and that can be overwhelming, but I plug in above and below. I let the energy flow, and I can be the stillness, appreciating all of it, identifying with nothing, but able to relate to every piece. That makes me feel like life of the party, center of my own universe, at peace with the journey, still evolving, while also celebrating all of the evolution, while being this beacon of permission, willing to be seen and heard and held, no longer desperate for it, panicked for it, because I am giving it to myself. And it is so readily available, working with the allies that are ever present and so available in overflow to all of us. Me accessing the earth and source as much as I need or want to never takes anything from you. It only breeds permission that we are infinitely resourced, even in these bodies, even on earth, in all the seeming limitations and conflict and stress. Sealing this session with a big sparkling golden infinity sign. I'm going to pop it right into the center of your psyche, pop one into the heart of hearts, and one into the sacral soul center, hara, womb space. Beautiful. Check out my discount codes for Otter Spirit in the description box below. As well, you can join the Edge Riders membership at any time. I love you. Good luck out there, and I will see you soon, and thank you for being with me here in this session. I appreciate how when we come together like this, we amplify the results. It's borrowing benefits. We're moving energy together, and so it radically, rapidly amplifies the results. It's so worth it. I'm so grateful to meet you here. Have a beautiful day.